I'm going to show you guys how to beat awakening raids and everything you need to know about them as well. Now that we're here, the best way to get keys is either one, doing it with other people, which you'll see is what I did, or buying them here once every 4 hours, I believe, for around 300 to 400,000 gold. Now you can also spin the gotcha thingy, like wait still back up a spawn, and you get those credits from these quests, but you can't get too many a day, and the gotcha is only a chance. So the best way obviously is just buying them outright here at the raid merchant. And here we are with Angel. Now you can't damage these bosses for some reason right after they spawn. As you can see, he's hitting them, but it's just doing 0 damage. So just give it a second, then you can start hitting them. Now when the Angel boss first spawns, he has this temporary shield, and this goes up just every once in a while throughout the fight. You just needed to damage this. It's really just a bit of extra health for him. That's about it. And you can see in this video, I'm not going to be using the Conqueror Blade at all, because I'm just assuming the vast majority of people don't have it. But if you do have some pretty good swords, like maybe the Underworld swords, Magma's Edge I think is their name, or the Doombringers or the Conquerors, I would definitely be using those during this fight, because if you do use swords, I was clearing this thing in like under a minute. But most people don't have really good swords, so I'm just going to use the Angel abilities. Now mine is corrupted, but it's only mastery 250 out of 400. And like if you're ever struggling on one of these bosses and you don't have max mastery, remember the mastery on all of these got raised recently, so you could like try to go level it and then come back. Now again, mine is corrupted, and as you can see, it's going to do more damage just based off of that, 2 times more damage. But we loaded in with only 3 people, and one of the people on this team are like just total dead weight, so I mean it about offsets, you know what I'm saying? Now the thing with like Angel boss is he has 2 phases, and he's kind of easy. It's more just like you're not going to die to his attacks. It's more just, are you going to be able to put out enough damage to kill him, which most people will. This boss is fairly easy, mostly because you're playing Angel. Like if you're all 3 playing Angel, kind of using your heal, or all 4 of you if you load it with a full team are using Angel with your heals, you're probably not gonna die. Like it's really hard to die when you're all playing Angel. Like you just offset his damage almost immediately. Yeah, there's really not super crazy strategy involved in this raid. It's really just constantly keeping up your heals and just doing damage to him. Now the best thing I could tell you is literally just use swords, but swords are kind of meta right now. So like I would just say that if you can use swords, use it for literally any of these raids, because they've been meta since Angel Sanctuary came out. But I do believe one of these people are using Kit. Yeah, I think the second person on the leaderboard is using Kit. That's actually going to be a good strategy for beating the Reaper raid later here. I'll tell you about that later on. But and also this Angel Sanctuary raid it's super easy, and it's really where you should be farming radium. Like if you're low on radium, come into Angel Sanctuary raids, because you can get the keys pretty easy, and the raid itself is pretty easy. Now if you do have struggle on it, or you are like not being able to beat it, this is a level 160 boss. You can always just come back later, upgrade the mastery, stuff like that, if you can't beat it, or just load in with some other people, and you'll probably get someone that can like pretty easily clear this. I mean, it is a pretty easy raid, so I'm just gonna head on over to the dragon one. All right, so next is dragon, and again for this one I'm not going to be using swords, just the element itself. I do think we have a Reaper in here, but as you're going to see, it's not really going to make a difference. This boss has more health, but when you're using dragon, you just have way more of a capacity to output damage as well, especially when you start getting some of these awaken moves. Some of these awaken moves are pretty good. Now this boss is the first boss with like a genuine like second phase. Like he transforms into a dragon and flies around. I'll explain that when we get there though. But for this boss, definitely be trying to like move around and avoid his attacks, throw out your like little residual damage things, because you can't like just tank his health. Yeah, here's the dragon. Now the dragon is pretty simple. He's just gonna fly around, land, and then fly around again and land on the opposite side. Now I suggest just charging on one of these dragon's eye and throwing it on him right when he starts, then do your damage. Then he's gonna fly. He's always gonna fly from like one side to the other side. So he's gonna like land right here, like where he just landed, and then once he's done with this like little damage thing, he's gonna get up and just fly right over to the other side. And that's pretty much it. He has this tail whip ability that's pretty wide radius, and if you're right up on him, you'll get hit by that, but it's nothing that's gonna be like super like to worry about at all. This one's pretty easy. It just takes a little more time, so you got to make sure you can do the damage. It only takes more time because he just spends his time like flying around a lot of the time. And that's pretty much it. So now for the Reaper raid, he's effectively a one phase boss, unless you count this guy, but he does have a little bit of like quirks to him, and his boss phases where like most people are going to struggle at. And what I mean is with these like little crystals, at least when I was recording this, the skeletons can't hit it consistently. Like you can see, I'm standing on this crystal, they're not hitting the crystals. So for that, you're gonna have to bring something to hit these crystals, because again, the little skeletons they just can't right now. I don't know if they're gonna patch this later on. I really hope they do, but until they do, you have to bring something to hit this crystal. Me personally, I brought Conqueror blades. Now I don't have any points into swords, so they weren't doing that much damage. I think maybe if you were to bring Phantom, like someone using Phantom might be able to handle these. Maybe Kit, just something to hit these, because your little guys will not. And also those little like balls that he's sending at the ground, the little things that like kind of launch at the ground, that's a really deceiving attack, because what happens is like the circle pops up, but when it goes away, it's not like that's when the damage is off. It's like you'll be able to actually like look at the ball coming at the ground. It's kind of hard to explain, but a lot of times with those like attacks, like with the rectangular ones he's doing, right as the circle goes away, that's when the attack goes off. With the other ones, with the circle ones, it's not like that. It's actually like a ball that gets sent at the ground that doesn't completely line up with the timing like of the attack. So you have to be like careful of that, and you'll notice that like pretty consistently. Now his rectangular attacks, those are pretty easy to dodge. You just need to be constantly moving away from those. It's like just those circle ones. And then he has one big attack that's like this big circle. That one's not too hard to deal with either. And like if you stand right outside of that while that's going off, your skeletons can still like hit them. So you can like set your skeletons to hit them and then just walk right outside of that black circle that he oftentimes spawns right on himself, and you know they'll be able to still keep hitting him. And for actually dealing damage to him after these crystals are gone, it's really just the skeletons and then dodging attacks, because you don't want to be getting hit too much here. It's pretty easy to die if you don't have a lot of health. So my suggestion is like throw down your Diablo every once in a while, summon your skeletons, and then just kind of dodge and try to stay away from them, because this one, it is very easy to die. Yeah, as you can see, one of my teammates have already died. Like as you can see here, I just use my skeletons to hit at him, and I'm not even really going in with my Conqueror's blade. I'm just summoning my skeletons, letting him hit them. The skeletons will like draw a lot of his attacks to them, and then I'm just kind of like playing off of that. And the same right here, this is what I was talking about. When that circle spawns, you can stand right outside of it and your skeletons will still be able to hit them like that. So it's really nice. You really just want to play off of your skeletons and make sure you don't die. Like for me, I can get a little bit more in there because I have a shit ton of health because my armor's pretty good, but for the vast majority of people, just spawn your skeletons and run away. Honestly, your best friend in this raid, and someone else did actually do this during this raid, is going to be like an angel with Conqueror's blade. 1, to help you get rid of those crystals, and 2, to constantly keep you healed. I actually enjoy this raid quite a bit. It's pretty difficult, and it actually takes a little bit of, you know, strategizing, and it isn't super easy. Like you can't just roll it like you can the other 2 raids if you do it right. And yeah, that's really everything to know about Awakening raids and how to beat them. I like the system they set up a lot. I think it's really cool, and it's a fairly substantive update, and I just hope that there's more to come and more kind of like this. But thanks for watching. See you.